Good morning and welcome back to Daybreak on this 23rd day of June 2020. It's now 21 minutes past 6 o'clock and it's time to speak to the Uasin Gishu Woman Representative Gladys Boss. Good morning.
Good morning, Sam. How are you?
I'm all right and it's great to be seeing you this morning. We want to focus on what just happened yesterday and what has been happening the past few days and weeks in as far as the management of the Jubilee Party is concerned. Now we have changes at the leadership in the National Assembly. We have a new majority leader. How does this make you feel?
I think it was expected, and we are taking it with a stride. But it was an amazing day for Kenyans to watch what is happening in Jubilee live. They watched the Deputy President walk with great humility to the meeting from Annex. In obedience with his boss, the President. He attended the meeting. He respectfully sat there and listened to his party leader and allowed him to speak and say what he wanted to do and make the decisions that he wanted to make.
And were you in attendance, or if you did not, why didn't you?
I did not attend because the notice was too short. I already had scheduled arrangements to prepare for distribution of water tanks around Uasin Gishu.
But this is an important meeting, I would imagine, of the parliamentary group of the National Assembly on the Jubilee side. Why would you fail to attend despite having pre-planned events?
I think I only got the notice the day before.
Right.
And it was too late to travel from Uasin Gishu. I know that last time I traveled overnight. My security was not happy at all about the fact that I was traveling in the middle of the night to attend a meeting because I only saw the message at 4 p.m. So I think I just thought if people respect us enough, they will give us sufficient notice. And they will also tell us, in the notice, they will also tell us what the agenda is. It should at least be a minimum of 5 days for people to be able to attend.
I'm asking that question because previously when we spoke to you on this show, you said that the president is not the almighty God and that you have things to do unless he sends you a chopper. Are you saying your failure to attend was not contemptuous?
It depends on how you want to look at it. I think last time I received in fact, the notice last time was even shorter. There was no way I was going to be able to make it, but I drove overnight at great risk to my own security. This time, I had other arrangements that had been made. Remember, right now, you can't have meetings with people. So when I have told over 90 people, come and sit with me in different groups so I could see them at different times, I wasn't going to send them all back away and tell them, oh, I just discovered I need to rush somewhere. And in any case, if we knew what the agenda was, then it would even be easier to make a decision as to whether you should drive all night or not. And remember, after the last meeting that we had, after driving all night, we had a 15-minute monologue by the president, our party leader. And we didn't have a choice in what was decided. You are only told this has been the decision. So also, it makes you the next time you're supposed to attend a meeting, you ask yourself, if my views want to be heard, if nobody else's views will be heard, you know, is it really make sense that I drive all night and drop everything?
Let me ask you this.
Because if they really wanted us to attend the meeting, they should have given sufficient notice and given us an agenda. Also, Sam, look at what happened. They said there is 126 members who signed a petition for the removal of Honorable Duale as majority leader. The names were not read out to us. They never gave us an opportunity. Had they told us in the agenda that the agenda is to discuss a petition by 126 members of parliament, then maybe we could have had the motivation, at least I would have had the motivation to mobilize and get counter signatures. We were not given that opportunity. We live in a democracy.
Honorable Boss.
Respect is two-way. Respect is two-way.
Honorable Boss, yes, we live in a democracy, but we all live in this country. Are you telling me you didn't have even a sense of what was going to happen at that meeting? You didn't know what was to transpire?
Apart from what I heard Honorable Murathe say on national television, that there is a section that has lost the support, I mean, no longer have any confidence in the majority leader. That was the only indication, but it was said in such a pedestrian manner that you think to yourself, had there been signatures, surely they would have asked those who are opposed also to mobilize signatures. Then we would have known, because I think it's unfair for somebody like Aden Duale, who has done everything to support government agenda. He's the most hardworking parliamentarian that I know. I have seen him push even the most unpopular pieces of agenda that belongs to government and persuade all of us to support it. And we have always supported it. No, at no time have we failed to support.
But Honorable Boss,
like that is going to go out, Sam. At least don't tell me there was 126 signatures against him. Please, at least tell me how many were in his support.
All right, and the reports we are receiving from that meeting is that the president expressed his satisfaction with the performance of the majority leader. But when he spoke at the BBI meeting last year in November at the Bomas of Kenya, of course, there are certain things that he said that the president should not be misled by the people in the civil service and people around him. He was very vocal against the handshake when it started, and he even said before Parliament that the death of the handshake had just come. What would you expect a party leader to do when the majority leader who represents his agenda in Parliament is speaking like this for a period of over 2 years?
I think a great leader should be able to accept criticism. A great leader can listen to divergent views. A great leader values the views of other members of his political party. Remember, when he ran for president, he went around the country collecting signatures for people to support his candidacy as president as required by law. He called a national delegates conference in Bomas of Kenya of Jubilee to endorse his candidacy as president. He was following the law. So even now, it is a case where, as a leader, I cannot say that my decision is ultimate, not even in my own home. I have to persuade the other members of my home to agree to accept some of my views. But it is not about that you become so authoritarian. In fact, it reminds me of the French monarchy, where the king said, the law is himself. That is not the case in Kenya. We've fought too hard. There are many people, Raila Odinga included, who fought for this second liberation. Surely we can't be clawing back.
But Honorable Boss, there's this question that people have been asking that even when people are being picked to those positions, including Aden Duale, when he was named to majority leadership, it was not a decision of the party or the party organ. It was the decision by the party leader and the deputy. What is different now in making those changes? What happened is, in the last time, because we've only had 3 parliamentary group meetings, so I've only experience of in the last since 2013. Right. I mean, sorry, since 2017. Right. And I remember when they proposed the party leaders. In fact, at that time, I remember that they had to take Susan Kihika aside, Kangata aside, to try and reach a mediate among them so that we could field one candidate. Right. But you see, at that time, it was an issue of persuasion. I still remember that the head of state and the deputy president went behind the scenes. They kept calling different people to persuade us to reach an agreement. At least that was democracy. There was negotiation. There was persuasion for us to be able to endorse certain candidates. And eventually, there were no challenges at all because people had been persuaded, even those who didn't agree.
But if you look at what happened yesterday, there was a proposal, and then the president asked, you gave me a petition, I agree with it, and several people shouted no. I think what should have happened at that stage is to read out the names and to say who are opposed to it.
But Honorable Boss, I want to listen to you, but I'm wondering how should I believe that? Because when it was in issue, none of us, between you and I, were at the KICC meeting. How do you know that? And how are we supposed to trust it?
Oh, by the way, I got a blow-by-blow account, sentence by sentence, of exactly. It was 22 minutes speech by the head of state. I have it here in my notebook because I made sure that I got the notes on what transpired. So just the fact that I'm not in a meeting and I have submitted my apologies doesn't mean I don't know what transpired in the meeting.
Okay, that's quite diligent of you. But let's talk about what's
I am very diligent.
Let's talk about what has been happening with the Jubilee Party. Now, last week, I believe, we saw some members of parliament meeting the deputy president at a place being referred to as Jubilee Asili. What is this? What is this new kid on the block?
What has happened to members of Jubilee, several of us, is that we have been locked out of the party headquarters. We do not have a place where we can actually speak or discuss or share ideas as members of Jubilee. So it is actually Jubilee Asili Center. It's not a new political party. It is a place, it's a place where we can have a meeting, where we can, and people who still believe in the original ideals of Jubilee. Because if you remember, when William Ruto folded up URP and persuaded many of us in the Rift Valley who are against it, that we should move away from having an outfit that seems to be an ethnic outfit and move to a national outfit that has people from every part of Kenya and have a truly national party that has a vision to transform our country. We all agreed to it. So, and similarly, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta folded up TNA for the same reason and came up with Jubilee. And at that time, we thought Kenya was turning 50. It was the year of Jubilee coming, and we were so hopeful that at that time in my mind, I said, people of my Rika are finally in power, and we are going to transform this country. So we are going back to discuss as Jubilee Asili at Jubilee Asili Center those ideals and how do we go back to what we believed in as the original Jubilee members.
Honorable Boss, I find that interesting because when Kenya turned 50 in 2013, you were the Chief Registrar of the Judiciary. So I don't know how you are still able to be happy about what's happening with the political parties, yet you were a senior public servant that time.
The fact that I'm a senior public servant doesn't mean I may not actively be in politics, but I do at least look at various candidates and say that I believe in that manifesto or not that manifesto. Believe me, even public servants do vote. So the fact that you're a public servant doesn't mean that you're oblivious of what is going on in the country. In fact, the reason why I was serving my country and that I have always worked in the public service is I believe that as a technocrat, I can change my country. And when I could not do that as a technocrat or roadblocks were put in my way, then I said I can change it as a politician. And I'm still attempting to do that.
All right, Honorable Boss, I remember that year in 2013 because you're the one who administered the oath of office for the two leaders, Deputy President and the President. But before I engage you on that...
It was a happy day for me that day.
It was a happy day. I don't know if they can say the same now, but let's speak to Sabina. Really? You can say that? Really? Why?
I don't like what's going on. I remember after 2013, I saw what happened. The building of the roads, the establishment of the technical and vocational training places. I saw the last mile rural electrification program.
Right.
I saw the free education in secondary schools, the money being sent to the vulnerable, the cash transfers. My God, I said to myself, if this is what Kenya is moving to, it's going to be a great nation. But we seem to have been sidetracked in this second term.
Okay.
Something has gone terribly wrong, and we all know it. And let's just pray that we get back on track. back.
All right, Honorable Boss, joining us this morning also is Sabina Shege, the woman representative for Murang'a County. And Honorable Sabina, good morning and thank you for joining the conversation. Of course, you've been speaking to the woman representative for us in Gishu. You attended that meeting yesterday and you're having reports indicate that the Deputy President did not even communicate or say anything at the meeting. Why so, and how do you feel the decision was reached? Because Honorable Boss feels that it was more of an authoritarian kind of a situation.
Good morning to you. But yes, I attended the meeting and the Deputy President was present, but he was given a chance to speak and he said he didn't have anything to say. So it's not that he was not allowed to speak. He was given a chance, but he said he didn't have anything to say.
And Honorable Sabina, does this concern you? Because we know the Deputy President, he never lacks something to say, being a politician of his stature. What does this say about the mood within the party and even that meeting yesterday?
Well, I think it just depends on the agenda of the day, because yesterday we only had one agenda. It was about the leader of majority. And so when the president came in, we were expecting him to communicate to us on a video link. He just appeared, and even when the SG or Secretary General was trying to explain what was happening, the president took over and just formally told us that he was well. That's why he was not so sure whether he was would be allowed to come and join us, because you remember there was the threat of Corona at State House, and he confirmed that his results were okay, and also his aid. And so he said we were just going to have the meeting, and he went straight to the agenda that he had gotten communication. The majority of the members from the Jubilee Party had signed not to have confidence with that in Duale. So that was just the agenda. And when he went, when he explained to us, then he asked the Deputy President whether he had anything to say. He said no. He went on and proposed, and the agenda was done, and he left. And actually, they had a very light moment with the Deputy President at the cafeteria. They sat there, had tea with other members. He interacted with several members of our party. Then he left as a jovial man.
Right, jovial man, but I don't know what the mood was like, because Honorable Boss says that that meeting, when there was that proposition to remove Aden Duale, people said, shouted no. Is that so? And why would you make a decision contrary to majority at the meeting?
I don't know which people. You know, it depends on where Boss was seated and what she wanted to hear. So, of course, when there is voting, even us, when we elected, there are, of course, some people who say no, others said yes, but the majority, that's why I didn't say everybody said yes, but majority said yes, and that was the vote that carried the day.
And there appears to be an agreement here, Honorable Sabina, that Aden Duale has really done a stellar job being the majority leader since 2013 until now. But now that decision had to be made. Exactly what are the persuasions? Because there are those that say it's because of his stance in as far as politically, how he has been probably supporting the Deputy President's ambition for 2022. Why exactly was he removed?
As I said, it was a majority. People had signed, and Aden Duale, for sure, yes, he has done a good job. Similar case to Ture Kindiki and even Murkomen. They had done a good job. Nobody would say that Duale didn't do a good job. But of course, there are ups and downs in work or everybody's position, including my position. I'm not perfect.
Right, we appear to have a lost signal for Honorable Sabina, but Honorable Shole, so Honorable Boss, rather, you hear Honorable Sabina saying there that yes, the decision was by majority, but what happens next for the party that you are very happy that it came to birth in 2013 and now 2017, you knew that this was going to be what transforms the country. What next?
San, just before I get there, I think I just want to correct to confirm to you what I said. I did not say that the Deputy President was denied an opportunity to speak. I said when he went there, he respectfully allowed, not allowed, but he respectfully listened to his party leader. I did not say that he wasn't given an opportunity to speak. I think it's important to correct that.
But does it concern you that he didn't have anything to say when asked to say something? Does it bother you?
I mean, No, I think it's his decision to make. And I know that if he had something to say, you definitely have spoken.
Okay, all right. All right, Honorable Sabina is back. Okay, Honorable Sabina is back. And so we've seen the formation of Jubilee Asili Center, and a couple of MPs, including those that were removed from the leadership of different committees in Parliament. We saw that. What are you doing with these two factions? Because it would appear that they are factions. Did the president have a say on this?
Well, I don't think there are two factions of Jubilee, and they might be existing in some people's minds. And basically, when there is a party or anybody, Kenya is a democracy. If you want to have your own political party, you can have it. And there is a proper way of registration. I don't think the issue of it being called Jubilee or even using some symbols like in Jubilee, that is not correct. But anybody, by the come 2022, will have so many political parties. And if somebody feels that the political party that you're serving is not serving you well, the best thing is to just resign, go back to constituents with your new party, get re-elected, or even get ready for another political party come 2022. So it's not the first time that political parties have been formed in Kenya. But I think it's ill-advised for anybody to start having or purporting to have a Jubilee Asili party. It's not in good taste, but people are free. If they want to form political parties, they are free to do so.
All right, I need to wind up on this. And Honorable Boss, so now we understand that you are removed from your leadership at the Committee on Delegated Legislation. Do you have any say in how you're taking this?
No, I take it with a stride. Remember, this is not the first time that I've been fired. I was fired from a constitutional position and a permanent and pensionable job before. So, I mean, for me, this is life. But also, I think my place in history, in what I did at the delegated committee, is secure. I am proud of the time that I served. I am happy that I had, and I'm grateful that I had the opportunity.
Right.
I am grateful that I had the opportunity to work with amazing committee members who worked extremely hard. So I have no regrets whatsoever. Whatever I've learned during that time is amazing and will take me to the next level of my career.
Right, and finally, Honorable Sabina, so now we understand that there will be recomposition of the committees in Parliament. Are we likely to see some members from Wiper Party, CCM, Chama cha Mashinani, as well as KANU becoming leaders of those committees? And what happens to the opposition or the minority parties?
We still have ODM as our opposition party in Parliament, and I'm not so sure on who gets what, and the people who will be coming in the leadership might be, and I want to say maybe KANU, of course, even last time KANU members got some positions because they were part of us. I'm not so sure about Wiper or the other political parties that have come, and I'll be waiting to see also. We have interesting times ahead, and we are just watching.
All right, interesting times ahead indeed. Honorable Sabina Chege, as well as Honorable Gladys Boss, thank you so much for joining us from Nairobi and Uasin Gishu, I believe. And thank you, and all the best with your party. We now want to take a short break. On our return, we'll be speaking to the Cabinet Secretary in charge of Health Affairs, that is Mutahi Kagwe. Of course, that conversation around his tenure, the Ministry of Health, it's been now 117 days. We spoke to him on also what it's been moving the country against the pandemic for over 100 days now. We have that conversation after the break.